Hello, and welcome to another edition of Barca Fan Voice. With La Liga starting in just 3 days with the Sevilla Betis derby on Thursday night, and Barca playing Mallorca on Saturday, we're much closer to getting back to football. It's all getting very exciting. And we've also got the kick-off times for the third and fourth game for Barca. So we've got Mallorca on Saturday the 13th at 10 p.m. Then we play Levante at Camp Nou on Tuesday the 16th at 10 p.m. Followed by Sevilla away on Friday the 19th at 10 p.m. and then Athletic Bilbao at Camp Nou on the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd of June at 10 p.m. Of course, the one thing that's going to be missing from those games is fans, but we're beginning to see opportunities that there may be a slight possibility that we will see some fans in the stadium this season. Javier Tebas, the president of the league, stated in an interview that there could be a return of fans where it is possible. The article from El Mundo Deportivo reads, "The question of most interest in these last few days is on the possibility of seeing the public in the stadiums for this season. Tebas believes it's viable if the necessary sanitary conditions are met." Tebas is then quoted as saying, "As soon as it's possible, we'll have fans in the stadium. A few weeks ago this all seemed impossible. In those places where it is possible, we will have to study the situation. What I'm worried about now is the return to competition. I see a lot of relaxation in the last few days, and this worries me a lot. After 5 weeks of training and various rounds of COVID-19 tests, there have been no reported new cases. There have been no infections for the moment, nobody, from more than 2,000 tests on players." As for the changing kick-off times, with some games starting at 2 o'clock, Tebas said, "We have many fans in China. We have designed the kick-off times for the fans." On the option of having artificial sound in the stadium, Tebas said there'll be the option of putting virtual sound, as was used for the Eibar Real Sociedad game. We have worked with a Norwegian company and with EA Sport. We'll see a good system, although it's the fan who will decide. And finally, the mention of whether the press will go into the stadiums or not, and Tebas said everyone's going to complain because not everyone can go in and we've got to look after the health first and blah blah blah. Well, again, don't hold your breath because the government's going to decide this in the end. But it does seem interesting that just a couple of weeks ago this seemed impossible, and in the last week we've seen massive demonstrations around the world where it's quite clear that social distancing wasn't always respected. Now, let me get this straight. I'm quite in favour of people going out. I think the lockdown's been a total exaggeration. This is my opinion, of course, but the numbers of deaths predicted at the beginning of this haven't been realised. It's been a lot fewer. I know it's a lot, but you can compare it to the Hong Kong flu in 1968. And in 1968, they didn't close everything down. People carried on. They had Woodstock in 1969, and Jimi Hendrix wasn't seen wearing a mask. Now, as I said, I'm quite in favour of people going out to demonstrate. It was a worthy cause, and people want to stand up against racism. But I have to say, the only thing strange to me is to see celebrities who just a couple of weeks ago were telling everybody to stay at home, now going out on the street to join these demonstrations. Now, until now, the whole lockdown thing seems to be around not allowing you to do anything that's fun, while you have to do the normal mundane things like go to work, go to the supermarket, go on the metro. You can do all these things. If you're working for somebody else, if you're working for yourself, then maybe you haven't been able to work. Now, of course, I'm not trying to compare being able to enjoy a football game with an important political protest, but surely if this is such a serious health problem, which I don't think it is, then this would have been frowned on. We're seeing one rule for the people, another rule for the politicians. We've seen many cases of politicians breaking their own lockdown rules, and people call them hypocrites. I'm not sure whether they're hypocrites or whether they're liars. They're telling us one thing and then doing another. And if you look at the official figures for COVID-19 cases, you see that only 2% actually become severe, so 98% just mild symptoms. It seems clear it's a pretty horrible virus for old people, particularly when they already have breathing problems or other severe health conditions. Surely for the younger population, we should be able to get back to normal now. For under 60s, the risk is practically zero. If we can go to work, go to the supermarket, go on the metro, go on political demonstrations, I don't see why we can't go to football matches, at least with a limited number of people. And I don't see why they can't begin, for example, with 20 or 30% public in the stadiums. I'm sure if they gave some proper health warning and advised people to stay at home if they're feeling ill, and advised old people with breathing problems to stay at home, I don't see why we can't all go. But hey, in my opinion, I don't know what you think, and it seems we're just going to have to wait and see what the government decides, and they change their minds on one thing to another from day to day, it seems. Anyway, I think that's enough from me for today. I'll be back on Wednesday. We'll have some team news. I'll have a look at the 11 I think will start against Mallorca. We'll be without Lenglet, who's suspended, and I believe Semedo's not quite fit enough. Luis Suarez probably on the bench, but I'll talk more about that on Wednesday. So until then, look after yourselves, people. Biscal Barca, and bye for now.